There, and thank you for joining me. Today we'll be reviewing the primary research findings of my capstone project. The goals of this research were to expand upon the current research already done and to explore the mobile and social media relationship in wedding floral vendor location and selection. The relevant information from secondary research that was also considered was wedding industry data such as demographics and the average cost of a wedding, as well as the social media habits of the millennial demographic because they are the predominant age group of the current wedding industry. Due to time constraints and personal network limitations, participants were recruited through request. Each participant was privately contacted, and each couple was interviewed independently to ensure the validity of their responses. 7 local couples were interviewed, making 14 participants in all, and 6 of the 7 couples were married recently, while the 7th is currently planning their wedding to occur in 2018. Throughout the primary research, the couples were invited to discuss who their wedding vendor was, how they came to find their wedding vendor, what their experience was, as well as the length of the engagement or wedding planning period. Results were gathered through focus group interview, and while the data set was rather limited, relevant information was definitely gleaned from the responses. Though in order to have a more statistically significant data set and a better representation of local demographic, additional wider spread interviews would need to occur. The respondents were all heterosexual couples between the ages of 24 and 32 and of Caucasian and Hispanic heritage. Through the interviews, I learned that there were a variety of vendor types included in different wedding planning, and the overwhelmingly amount of independent research done by the couples when picking a vendor. So when it comes to the type of floral vendor used in weddings, you see everything from the traditional professional vendor to packages within venues or other vendors like a caterer, all the way to a direct supplier or kind of a DIY decor. When it comes to the introduction of a wedding vendor, most couples found theirs through either Google searches, wedding websites, social medias, personal recommendations, or vendor suggestions. With this information, we will allocate resources and efforts on our social media and website pages due to the overwhelming response of how much independent research is done on these platforms. And the next step will be to interview a larger set of local couples to make sure that the information we gleaned is statistically significant. The goal of these interviews are to inform our marketing efforts going forward. Thank you so much for joining me.